Hey all, welcome back. This is Dino the Ops Guy doing production management in practice, or Stardew Production Management 101. It's a free university level production management course where rather than start with some sort of list agenda type thing, we basically let the application work on what should be next. So it's as if I could have you work with me in a factory and show you on a day-to-day basis what really you need to know in a factory. So basically a production management course sort of on the organic level, if you will, starting with what needs to be done. But rather than a factory, we're going to take you to a virtual factory, which is Stardew Valley. So you probably have it on your computer. This is episode 33. So there are 32 episodes that precede this. If you are interested, welcome to go back and look. You can start at 32 or you can start wherever you like. So we are going to step into things. I have a helper. His name is Av, and he's very, very good at what he does. He's every once in a while we'll come back and say he missed something or this, but he's still very, very good at what he does. And in situations like this, you got to keep that in mind, that even the best people leave stuff undone or on the table, and you just got to put things in perspective. But we do give Av a bit of a view from sort of a strategic level. So that's me. I kind of set things up for where we are on the strategic curve and what needs to be done and what sort of is going on. And then Av executes it the best way that he can. So what we have for today is for day 33, harvest and water the crops, pet the chicks, and get the eggs processed. Pick up the iron axe, which is available with Clint. Upgrade the pickaxe. We're going to do a back-to-back flip. Check the traveling cart for red cabbage because it is day 33. It is a Friday. Fridays and Sundays, we got to check the cart for red cabbage because it's really the only way you can get it reasonably. If there's some free time, Av, then feel free to forage the tide pools. Fish for tilapia is one of the things on our strategic list until 2. Or puffer fish between 12 and 4, a little harder to catch, but both of those fit into bundles that we would use for the community center completion. So I am now going to turn it over to the capable hands of Av. Take it. Where's my finger? Take it away, Av. Thanks, Dino. We got a fair bit of walk around to do today, looks like. So spirits are a bit annoyed today. We're not going to try and spend too much time in the mine. But let's see. Thanks for oh, this is Caroline. She's topping off this tea sapling. That's nice of her. That's going to help us. It's not the most economic thing, but it fits a lot of holes that kind of work. But we'll get to that. So let's make our way. We do want to pick up as much of the, say hi to Meow. Hi, Meow. And we do want to pick up the minerals because there's a lot of stuff that we haven't really been bringing to Gunther, and we can take this opportunity because we're walking around so much and we're going to be next to Clint. Gunther and Clint are neighbors, so might as well do sort of the two birds with one stone kind of thing. Make sort of optimize our moves as we're running around. And of course, once we run out of water, then we do the sort of secondary things, or I guess the primary things in some cases. We will reload the mayonnaise machine. We will check in with the chickens, make sure everything's good, get the eggs, and finish off with the potted, the crab pots, or the potted fish, if you will. So we will take care of all that. We did get some wheat. That's nice. Not enough to fill. We need 10 of one variety of wheat. We sort of got some base level, some silver level, some gold level, 3 of the base. That's not 10. And but we have some more going. They would have been up today had we planned that first day, but I think the planning was as best as we could do. It's just worked out that we ran out of hours in the day on that first day, but that's why that swatch of wheat there isn't ready yet, because they just didn't get watered on summer 1. So we're going to carry on. Now, I've watered those spots where there's no plants, but that's so that we can fill them in. And we'll, I think we got some summer squash that we can fill those in with, so that'd be nice. Maybe not enough for all of them, but we got at least a plan to start. We still need more water. We didn't make it to the end there. So we were going to finish this. I think the best thing to do, given that we're getting our new axe, which will let us into the new forest, the secret forest, the plan would be let's go towards Clint first. And then when we come back and get into the secret forest, we can at that point check in with the cart, as long as it's not after 8 p.m. That works. So ordinarily on a Friday or Sunday, we'd check the cart first thing, because it's really sort of the closest trip here. But given that we're already going to the secret forest after we get our new axe, I think we're just going to delay a little bit there. So yeah, let's get, like I said, we're going to get some of the minerals that we haven't given to Gunther yet. So that we can get all those sort of in one shot. The frozen tear as well. Yeah, and will we get a chance to get to the ocean? I'm not sure. We'll have to take a look. Maybe we should just dump the snail now. We'll have to see what makes sense there. So we will need 5 iron for upgrading our pickaxe. So there's the 2 that we're going to pick off the smelters. So that works. We did leave some stuff last night at the mine, so let's go get some of that. Oh, there's some summer squash and the Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Quick, or Thick, or something like that. Anyway, we got a new skill. We can avoid getting killed, I guess. I think we're going to get killed at some point anyway, but we're going to avoid it on some level. So let's take a peek up towards the train station. Nothing really, nope. I don't even know why we would want to take a peek up there, but it was a nice diversion. Just, taking your time, going to see. Woo! Off we go. We're not going to spend time in the mines. Again, our luck is very low. But like I said, last night we were a bit incomplete when we came to the mines. Oh, the scroll. We're going to drop the scroll off with Gunther as well. So that's a good catch. And then we'll just make our way down. We do want to have some room for when we get to Clint's, but I think that can be facilitated by stopping off at Gunther's first. So that should all work out. So we'll now have an iron axe, which will cut through the sort of bigger logger things, not just the stumps, but the loggies. So like I said, that's going to give us some access to the secret forest, which is nice. We can use that for getting wood skip, the one fish that comes out of that forest. We'll stop in with Clint, grab our axe, drop off our pickaxe. Thank you very much. See you in a couple of days. And then let's see. Make sure everything is in order. We can stop in at Pierre's and see if there is something posted at Pierre's. What is posted? Penny. Something for Penny. We will also stop and drop off our mayonnaise and our pickled cauliflower. We're making a fair bit of money on that mayonnaise and pickled cauliflower. That's one of the multipliers I was telling you about before, that you go from 275 or whatever, 300 whatever for the cauliflower to like 400. That's a decent lift. I'm happy with that. So we can live with that. We didn't need the topaz apparently, and it's about time we make a decision with that snail, I gotta tell you. So we'll reload the mayonnaise machine, but we definitely want to get down to just dump the snail. We definitely want to get down to the new forest, the secret forest, and the cart. So we'll stop the cart on the way through, see if there is some red cabbage or red cabbage seed, either of which we'd be happy with. It is summer. That's when red cabbage grows. So if we got the seed, we could put it now. Even if we got the seed later, the idea being, there's I don't see any red cabbage. Now, I was looking just a bit at the tilapia, but I think we'll be able to get our own tilapia, so that's not a big deal. It's not necessarily a hard fish to catch, So spending money now on something that we can just catch, I think I'm just going to leave with the catch. Welcome to the secret forest. I forget what it's, Witch's Forest or something like that. But yeah, so, and there's different things that seem to feature at different times. Today it's fiddlehead fern. Nice. We have not had any fiddlehead fern yet. And we just got a mahogany seed. That's a good thing because we're trying to make our own mahogany grove, because when we need mahogany, we're going to really need mahogany. So we're going to have to grow our own. And hopefully the wood skip no, we just got a broken CD. Hopefully the wood skip will show here, because then that'll save us some time later on. Not necessarily a hard fish to catch. Carp is not a wood skip, but something that you gotta at least take the time to get. You want to make sure that you got one because it fits in the bundle. River jelly is good. It's a good return. I think it's a huge. It even increases our top energy or something like that. The ocean, I find the ocean a little better because it increases our fishing. So on one sunny day, if we haven't got the puffer yet and we're getting a bit antsy, we can take some of that ocean jelly. But again, the river jelly is just to help us with top end energy. I've never actually used it as such. We got a mystery box. Too bad we didn't have that when we were on our way to Clint, because that would have been nice. But you know what? I think we're just going to finish off the spring onion. No sense in keeping one or two just to fill the spot. We're going to use some energy for the rest of today, so we got plenty of time to use it up. But yeah, so the river jelly and the ocean jelly, and there's another cave jelly that we're going to need to make the fish dehydrator, another nice multiplier that we can use. It basically takes our fish, especially expensive fish, and make them more expensive. It's kind of nice that way, so we can get more return. So, well, we took care of the forest. What's going to be? Oh, a prehistoric tool. Looks like a spoon to me. But yeah, so we'll take care of the prehistoric sword. The new axe lets us chop these big honking stompy things. So it's kind of nice. Oh, we don't have any food. We're going to have to, you know what we used to do before? We'd mix 3 seeds together and get food. We're going to do that again because it's just so sort of efficient at this point. And we got tons of acorns, tons of pine cones, and tons of maple seeds. So that's a good thing. So, and of course, now we have more of the pickled cauliflower, so we can reload our jars. Again, really good return from these. Glad we got them. We should look at maybe getting more of them. They do pay themselves off nicely. So we're going to get 4 of each and then convert the 4 of the seeds and then convert those to the 4 field snacks. And then we're going to have some energy so we don't have to rely. There's not going to be carrots. I will have to look. I think the summer squash might be lucrative, but the summer squash takes, I think, at least 6 days to grow from now. So it's not like we're going to get any energy fairly. This is a bit of an eyesore. We might as well just get rid of it here. So it's nice to have that special axe. So, but using the field snack isn't always what I go to. Usually there's more forage items that are better and more efficient. But in this situation, we don't have a whole lot others. So we're just going to go with the field snacks. It's actually fairly efficient on its own, especially given that we don't typically sell the seeds anyway. We usually try and use them somewhere. So when I say the seeds, I mean the acorn, the pine cone, and the maple seeds. So it just sort of works out that we tend to have extras anyway, and we just might as well use those up. You know, before we plant this, I want to see where I'm planting. So let's clear some of this stuff out, including that tree. That oak tree needs to go. So visibility is a big part of this game. I was saying before, one of the first things we did was 5S the area near where we put the saps, and people think 5S is really cleaning. Again, it's so much more about visibility. It's so much more about making it clear what's going on. It to me is a communication device, less showing that we're spick and span kind of thing. So that's kind of to me the right way to approach what 5S is and how to use it. We're gonna have to spend some more time sorting these chests, but we don't have the time right now. Let's get rid of this CD because we need something in the recycling machine anyway. So let's go back over. There was something that I noticed I didn't pick up. It's a fishing vest. We now have a fishing vest. Craziness. So and it's nice that the Concerns Apes had a mind for fashion so that we can stay on the top of fashion. And this season is going to be fishing vest. It's fishing vest is the new sugar shirt, if you will. So that's good to know. Let's close things up. We got some mayonnaise we can put in. Getting close to time, but given how tight we've cut it before, this is plenty safe compared to what we're used to. Lately, we've been running right to the wire. But so let's do our little dance with the kiln and the smelters, and then head to bed. So we certainly put some stuff in the shipper, so that's good. We'll get that money back. 1888 specifically. And again, with the fisher profession, we're getting more money for a fish. There appears to be some sort of anomalous reading. Tomorrow we are going to have absolute fun, but for now, we're going to send it back to you, Dino. Thanks, Av. Well, hopefully you'll tell us what that anomalous thing coming up is. I know what it is, but you've dealt with it more than I have. So let's get to basically recap, and we'll get to some other discussion, operational discussion. So harvest and water the crops, done. Pet chicks and process eggs, done. We got the iron pickaxe. We upgraded the iron axe. We upgraded the iron pickaxe. That's going to be coming. There was no red cabbage at the traveling cart, even though there's a couple of things to tempt us. And we did not get to the tide pools or anything like that. As Av said, there was just a lot of running around. So I do want to get into some of the op stuff. Now, just to cover, before I get into Focus Factory, the last episode I was talking about ABC, and I noticed from when I went back that there may be some confusion. ABC has to do with how you designate locations. So the A items, the fastest turning items, the most frequent items get the best locations of all. The B's, if you can figure out their pattern, their frequency, then give them locations specific to those patterns or frequencies. And that's kind of important. And then the C's, just wherever. So I also sort of confounded that with how much you should keep, and how much you should keep is really specific to each one. But for the most part, people think that A's, because they're so frequent, we don't have to worry about how much we should keep, because they just sort of go away. And it's the opposite is true. They're the ones that are going to get you in trouble typically. So I think I said something like there was a C item I was commenting, which was really a B item. It was the periwinkle. Periwinkle is a B item because it's a season. Well, it's specific to fishing, let's say. And the point that I was making with periwinkle is, even though it's a B item, it is a classic, sort of let's leave it alone kind of view, as if it were a C. So there are some things. There is a bit of a bias, if you will, that things in the A you should track more specifically with your min maxes, and then B kind of less so, and C more so. But that is not a hard and fast rule. ABC has to do with location. And in that ilk, we're going to talk about Focus Factory, because most factories I go into, especially the last factory I was in, there were 3 things going on, 3 full factories going on under the same roof, and they were all sort of mushed up. And that is a bad thing when it comes to operations. There's a really good article called Focus Factory back, I think it was Wickham Skinner, back in, I gotta say, the 60s or the 70s or whatever. But Harvard Business Review, well written, certainly completely insightful, and totally forgotten, I'm sure. But the idea being, each of these business lines have different concerns, and we have to treat them differently. And in our situation, if you're looking at Stardew Valley, you're looking, well, foraging, it's going to be a function of, walks lead to forage items, lead to, if we can blend them into seeds for more money, blended seeds, and then we sell them at Pierre's, or we put them in the shipper. If we're looking at the farm, we're going to buy seeds from Pierre and plant those seeds, or we'll find them in the ground, whatever the case. They go to crops, we'll harvest those crops, and then either those crops are sold directly or through some sort of artisan process to make an artisan product more valuable than before. Or we can start with the farm product, the animal products, and those can be, we'll get the eggs, and then we decide, do we sell the eggs, or do we upgrade them to mayonnaise, etc. So that's a different business, really, as it's structured than foraging. Fishing, we go to the fishing spot, spend some time there, and we get fish. And right now we sell them. At some point we'll be able to post-process them. For now, we're just selling fish. And then in the mining, there's really two activities in the mine. We can either use our pickaxe or we can use our weapon. So if it's a pickaxe, we're getting minerals. If it's a weapon, we're getting some sort of battle gain from that. And we can either sell it to Clint or the shipper, or we could put it, sell it with Marlin if it's some of the product we use, or just put it in the shipper, which we typically do. But they are four different businesses that all work in the same. And the reason it matters that we're going to call them different businesses is because if there's a conflict that if you do what's best for all four, you're going to minimize, in some cases, what's best for any one. I kind of compare it to saying, if I'm a coach and I want to play at the World Cup level, World Cup's on now, so I can spend some time and get a really, really good striker, and I can spend some time and get a really, really good goalkeeper. And I can, sort of decide, well, I don't have time for both necessarily. So why don't we spend a little bit of time on a good striker and a little bit of time on a good goalkeeper? And that's not how you win games. If you want to be competitive, you really have to focus that each of them have individual needs, have to be treated individually, and have to be addressed the concerns that are individual to those businesses. So if we're considering foraging in the spring, we're just using the spring numbers here shown in episode 30, 20,000 in forage, 35,000 in farming, 5,000 in fishing, 17,000 in mining. We can say if we're going to focus on any one business, it's going to be farm. That's the one that's giving us the return right now. So if we look at the farm return based on hours, there's a lot of hours we're spending on the farm where we're watering plants and we're going to the barn to get, or coop, I guess, to get eggs. And we're petting meow. I mean, that's not a lucrative thing, but it'll work out in the end. You'll see. So we're doing all this stuff, which takes around 4.5 hours. The last time I just did an audit of day 31, 32, and 33. Day 30 was raining, so I couldn't use day 30. And each of them, I think one was 3.5 hours, one was 4, one was 4.5, or something like that. It was high 3. So let's call it between 4 and 4.5 hours, right? After that point, it's diminishing returns. I mean, it's nice that we can hang around and change the smelting so that we get more iron or more copper or whatever. Do that faster, but we don't get that much more money for it. We can do the same thing for the eggs, the mayonnaise machine. We don't get that much more money for it. Really, the key input that we're getting, the key return we're getting is based on those first 4.5 hours, and then it drops off. So we got to look at getting those 4.5 hours done. Mining, on the other hand, right, it has its sort of this different curve that once you get there, it's going to be a steady return. But as you get lower floors, you actually are higher numbered floors. As you get lower in the mine, you actually get better return because the things you can find have a better return. So unlike the farm return where there's a diminishing return level, in mining, you actually get better returns the longer you're there, which is a bit different. If we look at fishing and foraging, both of them more have this linear straight up return that the more foraging and the more fishing you do, the more fish you're going to get or the more forage items you're going to get. The problem's going to be with foraging. I mean, I'm not really talking about wood here if we're getting wood, but if we're just walking around looking for items, once you've walked the entire map, you don't get any more. So there's sort of that limit that after 5-6 hours, you've seen everything. You're not going to get any more forage items other than chop down a tree somewhere, which was there before you were there anyway. So these 4 different businesses have different return profiles, and that means that we can't treat them all the same. They are not the same. We should have, ideally, we should have different management and different staff, different scheduling, etc. Not as big in Stardew Valley necessarily, but certainly something to consider, right? The point that we make is the farming, we don't want to sort of half optimize things. We don't want to make this happy medium. The farming should be optimized, so we have to get the 4 chores done. Now, we can try and make those chores more efficient. We can try and get them done faster, great. But the point is, we don't want to go a day and miss those chores. Mining should take into account this luck factor, because with luck, we can get down floors faster. And thus, the return is a little steeper. We get a little more from it. Fishing should be mitigated, because unless we have the rings, we're really not getting the return we're hoping for. And foraging, well, it's sort of as we go, but it's not going to be a 4-hour, 6-hour thing. It's just going to be on our way. We should look at the fact that we have to share our time complicates things, but it does not warrant one common approach. It warrants individual approaches based on different situations. So the priority has to be set first. Farming has to be done. The chores have to be done before anything else. It doesn't have to be done first thing in the morning. We should open the coop door first thing in the morning. But essentially, we have to cover our bases, make sure that we have the time for the farming. Once that's done, we can make a decision to which is the next most important area, and then focus on that. Again, from the analogy, we don't want to have a middle-of-the-road striker and a middle-of-the-road goalkeeper, because that just does not make us competitive, right? So when we share services, we have to make compromises across lines. The real solution is we should duplicate what we need, right? So, for example, we're going to get to a situation where we're going to need a keg for stuff that we're doing seasonally in the farm. We're also going to need a keg perhaps for, let's say, coffee or something that we're doing in the greenhouse. We should duplicate those resources so we have separate kegs in the greenhouse and separate kegs for the farm, because otherwise we're just going to end up compromising and it's not going to work out the way we want. But anyway, so that was just a little thing on Focus Factory. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. If you have any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'd love to read them, and we can make adjustments thereby. Otherwise, we will see you in the next episode. And this is Dino the Ops Guy signing off.